welcome to this case study. In this video, we're going to be breaking down how we're currently spending $15,000 a day on Facebook ads for a client while maintaining a sub $22 CPA, cost per acquisition, in 2023. So on the right hand side here, you can see the quick little screenshot. Last 30 days, June 2nd to July 1st, we spent a total of $388,000 on Facebook with a $21.95 CPA, generating the brand just under $900,000 in revenue at a 2.31x return on ad spend. So let's dive into this case study, guys. There's going to be a lot to break down. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. So the index for today's case study, we're going to go over the intro, how we actually scaled this brand in the account from $18,000 a month in Facebook ad budget to $15,000 a day in Facebook ad budget, the KPIs that we're tracking, the account structure we're using, the ad creatives we're using, our white label strategy, our optimization strategy, and the overall results on how you guys can implement this for your brand. So before we dive into this, guys, who are we? My name is Jordan Bazouzi. I'm the CEO and founder of New Reach Media. We're an e-commerce growth partner, right? Trusted by anywhere between 15 to 20 brands at any given point in time. Whether you need help with your paid advertising, retention marketing, email marketing, conversion rate optimization, user-generated content, these are the things that we partner with our clients to help take the brand to the next level. But in today's video, obviously, we're going to be discussing strictly Facebook ads. So intro, guys, over this 30-day period, we spent a total of $388,000 on Facebook ads, like I said, while maintaining a $22 CPA. Now, the stats below are from Triple Whale comparative to the year prior. So we've been working with this client for upwards of 16 months and have increased the ad spend on the platform by nearly 2,000%, while also maintaining a drop in the CPM by nearly 20%. We're currently spending around $15,000 a day on average with the cost per acquisition of $22. Because we are advertising a $60 product, this leaves us with very, very juicy profit margins and continuously allows us to make sure that we can help scale this brand into multi-eight figures. So in this video, I'm going to break down the exact campaign structure, what levers we are pulling on a weekly basis to maintain performance at this scale. So again, you can just quickly see these are the numbers from Triple Whale, guys, scaling from $18,000 a month. So comparative June 1st to June 30th in 2022, we spent $18,000 with generating a return of a $48,000 return, $9 cost per acquisition, 2.6x return on ad spend. So a lot kind of happened, and there's quite a big difference from the left to the right. Namely, you can see a lot of the difference in terms of just like how many more different campaigns we have running, and as well as obviously, you know, we've increased the budget by 2,000%, but as well as actually doubled the cost per acquisition, which is what we're fine with, right? Because at this rate, I mean, we're extremely profitable. The AOV is probably around $50 at this point, and we've moved it to around 60, which has really helped us out in terms of being able to scale profitably. So if we pull back the curtain or pull back the clock on the last 12 months, this is what the ad account looked like while we were running it before, like we kind of everything that I just mentioned. What's the difference here between these campaigns? I'll dive into that in just a moment. How did we actually increase the budget by over 2,000% year over year? That's exactly what we're about to break down. So let's take a look at our North Star goals and our KPIs to give you a little bit more context about this brand. So like I said, $60 AOV, conversion rate on the website hovering at 3.8%, profit margin close to 90%, but you know, after ad spend and different things like this, you know, we're going to just say a safe 80%. And the niche, right? Women's clothing accessories. Our strategy here was actually not to utilize things like ROAS as a measurement of our success, right? The way that we were able to scale to spending $15,000 a day profitably was by focusing on different KPIs to make those decisions and ultimately drive success. So why are we doing this? Well, what tends to happen when you're advertising on Facebook, Google, TikTok, you have email and SMS marketing, you are big organically, there's going to be a lot of cross attribution, and it's going to be very difficult for you to understand exactly what platform is driving those sales. So instead, what we're tracking specifically on platforms like Triple Whale is looking at things like marketing efficiency ratio, right? So how much are we actually spending percentage-wise comparatively from the revenue on marketing, and CPA, new customer cost per acquisition. So how much are we actually paying to acquire specifically a new customer, and then CPA, how much are we spending to acquire a customer overall. And internally, what we like to do with our clients is set max KPIs, right? Meaning if we hit above these, like a 30% MER, $25 NCPA, $20 CPA, there's sort of a red flag, and we really have to sit down and figure out what the issue is, because this is like the max that we can go, and the client is still either just barely profitable or breaking even. So I highly recommend you do that. And then moving on, guys, account structure. So this is going to be really cool. I'm going to break this down for you guys. Let me just pull this up. Okay, guys, so this is the account structure of how we have set up all of our campaigns to a degree. And I'm going to kind of walk you through everything exactly to the point of how we've structured everything. So let's just dive right into it. So immediately, guys, we'll start here. We have a sort of like a testing campaign, which is our dynamic creative test. And again, top of funnel. And essentially we keep this very simple, guys, generally ABOs, very broad interest. interests. Like, let's just say we're targeting, again, for like a women's clothing brand, we're pretty much targeting like they're interested in dresses. They're like very, 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 very broad. They're interested in like a certain brand, like, something massive in H&M, etc. Completely broad targeting. And then we're stacking LLAs and then pretty much just throwing these into single DCT creatives, where we have probably about like 4 or 5 different creatives and ad copies that we're testing individually. And that's sort of like how we have our testing campaign. What we move that into is once we start to find winners, right? So in this DCT, we found ad A and ad copy C ends up working out together. What we do is basically create the exact same campaign with some of our winning interests, what we know to be working, again, all top of funnel here, guys. And this is where we're throwing in individual ads. Now, generally, we might push it even to like 6, 7, maybe even 8 ads an individual ad set. But generally, rule of thumb for us is we don't like to push too many ads inside of a single ad set, as we don't have the control to have where that ad spend is going to go. Obviously, Facebook does know what's going to perform best, but at the same time, we still do want a bit of control. So generally, this is the number of ads that we're putting in, just so we can kind of give an even chance to the other creatives in terms of performance, right? And then what we tend to do as well on our other top of funnel campaign, we're also running an Advantage Plus. Obviously, this is super new and something that we're consistently running, but this has allowed us to spend a hell of a lot of money in a very easy way, right? Very, very simple campaign setup. It's the one Advantage Plus, completely broad targeting, and then we just have our best performing creatives in terms of individual ads. And that's what's actually allowing us to, I think, spend on this individual campaign $3,000, $4,000 a day, which is great. And then this kind of leads me into the big strategy here, which is how we're actually scaling this individual account. So white label advertising, right? This is actually how we've been able, one of the biggest levers that we've used to actually scale the accounts in terms of being able to basically reach out a ton of new customers. I actually made an entire YouTube video on a white label strategy. I'm going to break it down in the video as well, but generally we're kind of have things set up a little bit different here. So this is influencer one campaign, right? So each time we work with a different creator to run a white label ad, we are actually setting up a different campaign for that individual creator. Then we're running those ads top of funnel. We're retargeting the creator's audience and we're retargeting the brand's audience and funneling those into generally a test of, again, like 3 or 4 different individual creatives. And we're replicating this for each different creator that we work with, so we can leverage the trust of themselves, right, of their personal brand, but leverage the reach of their personal brand audience. And this has been huge in terms of being able to spend so much more money on different accounts that has actually been allow us to scale properly. Now let's go ahead and break down the final campaign here, guys, which is just our simple retargeting campaign, bottom of funnel. Generally, this is very loose. We do run a few DPA campaigns, things like that individually. It all comes down to the individual account and how much budget we do have to spend. But generally, this is the rule of thumb that we're running with, right? Is CBO here, bottom of funnel campaign. We're giving all website visitors view content at the cart initiated checkout, open or narrow these windows by 30-day increments. You can see we have them at 180 days. And generally, these are like the types of creatives and the ideas that we're using for these types of ads. So very, very simple, guys. You do not need to overthink the actual ad account structure. The main thing here is that depending on how big the account is, maybe you're not going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different, because we do have quite a few different top of funnel campaigns in the actual account. But what it's going to allow you to do is actually structure the account properly. That way you can allocate that spend differently. So to give you guys a bit of a better picture into this, I'm actually going to pull back the ad account right now for you. So this is basically the account structure without, obviously exposing too much here. I have the names blurred out of all of the different white label, different actual campaigns that we're running with right now. But you can see individually we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different top of funnel campaigns that we are leveraging white label and creators to advertise through. And this is huge, right? Because again, this is 10 different accounts and 10 different individual personal brands that we're leveraging the trust that they have through their creators. We'll walk through this in just a moment and why this is so valuable. But again, I just wanted to show you guys the quick little structure in terms of our targeting. So then we have a top of funnel Advantage Plus campaign, prospecting DCT, like I mentioned, a remarketing CBO, which is kind of like our middle of funnel, prospecting ABO, which again is that actual stable campaign, and our scaling campaign. And then we have our remarketing DPA, which obviously is doing some work using the catalog images, which still work wonders to this day, guys. So in terms of ad creatives right now, this is kind of basically taking the next step in terms of the ad account. Now that we've looked at the structure of the entire account, it's time to actually look at the actual ads. So without going into extreme detail and pulling back the curtain on the actual brand itself, here are the types of ads that we were testing and utilizing throughout this process, right? So obviously product focus ads, us versus them, ended up performing extremely well. So comparing ourselves ourselves versus competitors, why we're better, using lifestyle images and videos, obviously people actually using the product, memes, and ugly ads. So what does this mean? Well, obviously memes, I think you guys understand, but ugly ads are ads that, you know, anyone could take. If I want to take a photo of this Celsius drink, that I would just literally take a photo, maybe add a sticky note, things like this. Very, very small, simple ads that are, you know, looks like your mom took a photo of, and they look very, very organic, and they're quote unquote ugly. And what tends to happen here is that we're getting a much higher click-through rate because it does look like an organic post, and that kind of leads on into UGC, pieces of video content, founder-led pieces of content as well, behind the scenes. Things like this work really, really well, but it's also, you know, truly impossible to narrow down what exact type of creative performs the best out of these, right? The key is, at this scale especially, test, right? Things you might expect to work flop, and vice versa, right? So things where we were expecting some behind the scenes ads to work ended up really well. The ugly ads ended up being some of our best performing ads throughout the entire last 16 months. So this is one of the biggest levers any brand can pull in terms of driving results at scale. For this brand in particular, we actually also create the UGC, but we're provided with tons of other content to test on a monthly basis. So it really allows our team to kind of have a hand in terms of the customization and what we're looking to test as well. And then next, guys, I just want to quickly run through the white label strategy. So I've made an entire YouTube video on this strategy, so I will keep this brief, but overall, an individual is better than a brand. What does this mean? Well, people are always going to trust an actual face and an actual person that they can see and make the distinction whether they trust them much quicker or not, rather than a faceless brand. So this is why we opt to use white label advertising for a lot of the clients we work with, but not the only reason, right? Yes, it builds trust and oftentimes has a much higher click-through rate than the ads being running through the actual brand page. But one of the reasons that we use this strategy actually allows us to 10x our reach and results, like I said, right? With white label ads, especially using them through larger creator accounts, we can leverage, like I said, the trust that they've built as an individual, but most importantly as well, leverage the reach of their individual audience, right? We're partnering with people that have, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 plus, I think, coming up with people that have a couple million followers on their accounts. And this is very, very important, but it is also very dependent on your brand. The brands that we're doing this with actually have collabs with these influencers, so it actually makes sense for them as well, and they are getting a percentage of sales on the back end, but not actually through our white label ads, just the percentage of sales that come through their individual product. The thing is when we're driving people and we are advertising their individual product through these white label ads, people are still getting to the website and likely adding to cart other products, which they're not getting commission on, which is just ultimately helping us drive a lot more revenue. And even when we're targeting these ads specifically top of funnel, there's a much lower barrier in terms of trust compared to advertising on a brand account top of funnel. So just something to think about, guys. Definitely a strategy worth using. The optimization strategy, what are we looking for in terms of optimizing this account? Well, this goes back to the KPIs that we discussed, right? How do we track this accurately? We use softwares like Triple Whale. Do we turn off ads during things like collection drops or sales periods? And the answer is no, right? One of the better optimization strategies that has actually allowed us to maintain results at scale with campaigns like this or with accounts like this is when we have like a Q4, when we have a new collection drop, when we have a big sale happening, we're not actually going off and turning off our quote unquote evergreen ads. We're continuously allowing these to run. We're building our own individual sale campaigns, putting a lot of the budget behind that for the day, but we're allowing a lot of that cross attribution to happen because we don't want to turn off the ads. Big, evergreen account campaigns end up losing a lot of the data. There are a lot of overall aiding with that attribution, which is super, super important. And every single one of our top of funnel campaigns, we are as well excluding all of our retargeting audiences to make sure that we can allow those middle and bottom of funnel campaigns to perform on their own. So like I said, through all of those top of funnel campaigns that I showed you, we are actually excluding retargeting customers. And then the results, guys, right? To end this video off, in the last 30 days, we've generated 46 million impressions at an $8 CPM, $21 CPA, and an $895,000 generated. In terms of revenue, the key takeaways as to scaling a brand to this point where we're spending $15,000 a day is that you need to have clear KPIs as well as a structured ad account, making sure that we're using engaging creative and continuously optimizing our ads and leveraging others in terms of different creators, different brands, things that you can collab with to, like I said, leverage their trust, but most importantly, leverage their audience. And as we move forward, we continue to refine our strategies to make sure we can keep up with everything that's changing with Facebook and things like iOS 17. So if you guys are interested after watching this case study and you want to work with our team to help scale your brand, apply below this video. There's going to be a link, whether you guys are looking for help with your Facebook advertising, Google advertising, your retention marketing, so email and SMS, or even conversion rate optimization and user generated content. These are the things that we partner with our clients to help take their brands to the next level. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this case study. I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Go ahead and click on the links page below on our website, and it'll take you to the ton of other case studies and free trainings that we have built before. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to speak to you soon.